3, 2, 1, go! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Triforce podcast today with me, Lewis. Sips, also from Jersey. Hello, Sips.
What if I told you that doing go instead of Mark actually depleted me of energy?
Right, I see.
So, it's a positive for you, but it's a negative for me.
I don't know if the people listening know about the whole difference between go and Mark. For anyone listening that doesn't know, what we do is, when we're recording to sync it up, we used to be 3, 2, 1 Mark.
Yeah, for years.
For some reason, they changed it to 3, 2, 1 go.
And years, yeah.
Literally, the entire time I've known Lewis and Sips and I've done any kind of recording, it's always been 3, 2, 1 Mark. And now it's 3, 2, 1 go!
Well, I changed it because a lot of people were confused about the word Mark being used because we got Humes in the office, we got Terps. He likes to be called Mark now. It's confusing.
Does he?
Yeah, he prefers it. I think
he doesn't want.
And Shin wants to be called Paul as well. And you would like to be called Christopher,
right?
And Pyrion would like to be called Edward.
I feel like you're making a lot of this up right now.
And I would like to be called Jane. Okay?
Zephos. You want to go back. You want to call everybody by their real name, but you want to go back to your internet name.
I'm the only one who's allowed a cool name. That's it.
Everyone else has to be shitty normal names. So we missed a week last week because Sips, you were on holiday, I think. Were you away as well?
Yeah. Flax was away too, yeah.
Where did you go?
I went to Cornwall.
Nice. I went to Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, lovely.
Windsor outside of London. The Windsor. The real Windsor.
Is that where Legoland is? Did you go to Legoland?
Yeah, we went to Legoland. We went to Windsor Castle. We went to Legoland. We went to this miniature railway village thing. Yeah, it was good. It was a very all of our vacations are for the kids, right? So it's not really you come back more tired than when you went. You almost need a separate vacation to recover from the vacation.
I did all the driving. We drove to Cornwall and we drove back via Bournemouth to pop in and see my mum.
Oh.
So it was about we were only down there for 3 nights. So it was a 5-hour drive down.
Jeez.
And then a 5-hour drive back via Bournemouth.
Man.
So for the sake of 3 or 4, basically I think it was 4 days, 2 nights in it or something like that in Cornwall, I had to drive for 10 hours. So basically a full working day behind the wheel of a large automobile.
Did you ever have to go on the M3 at any point? Because holy shit, that motorway is a nightmare.
Do you have a problem with the M3, my friend?
It's jam-packed. Every time I'm on it, it's just...
Well, you're driving at the wrong time. That's my road,
gridlock.
Buddy. That's my road.
This is
okay.
Sorry, did I just walk into a Christmas party where, the dads are chatting away about, oh God, did you see the traffic on the M3?
Yeah.
What route did you take here? Yeah, I took the M3.
You should have gone round by the North Bypass, mate. You want to take the road up by M16.
You see the new give way sign right before the roundabout? Oh, yeah, it's a really good one.
Whew.
Ted,
Brilliant.
Oh, man.
Love it.
So tell me about Legoland. I've never been. I want to go. I'm excited,
Don't go.
actually.
Oh, man,
Why?
It's really expensive for what it is.
Well, but
it's
you're just talking about Lego now.
I know, but it's when you see the commercials and stuff, you think it's holy shit, this is Disneyland, but with Lego. It's not. It's a local fun fair with Lego, and it's as expensive as Disneyland. I wouldn't recommend it.
I didn't get it. No, we went there. I mean, they had things it was all just a bit fucking tatty and shabby.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm still excited for it.
The problem is that it's outside, but the UK has notoriously shit weather, so and anything that's based entirely outside in the UK is gonna look like hell because it's just gonna get battered for whatever. We have 2 weeks of sun in this country a year, so the rest of it is all rain and there's actual it looks like there's seaweed growing on some of the statues and stuff because of all the dampness and the rain in that area.
And they've got the Lego World thing that they built outdoors. It's all miniature cities and
that
stuff.
was pretty cool. I mean, the thing is,
but didn't you notice that it's all old Lego? It's all just kind of really old. That's obviously the bit they built first.
Some of it felt a bit cheaty as well. It wasn't entirely Lego. There was definitely some walls that were just big walls.
Yeah, they just
not made of blocks. They're just fuck it. Just make a big wall.
Yeah, just put a wedge of plastic. Put some goddamn styrofoam in there, Terry, and a breeze block.
It was impressive enough, I guess. It was pretty good. It's big, surprisingly big. When we got there, I was like, holy shit, this is pretty big. But I don't know. The weather was not great. It was really cold. It was it was not sunny and stuff. And I mean, that's always gonna sort of not be a good thing when you go to a theme park, right?
True that.
You really want the weather to be nice, but
hell yeah,
it's good for small kids. It's really geared up to small kids.
The rides were shit. Like I think up to like 7 or 8. I think it's okay. But I mean, for an adult there, I mean, some of the rides, you had to queue for ages, and it was like, this is garbage. There's no thrill here.
Nah.
It's just a very slow-moving platform, and the kids are like, even they are like, huh, I thought roller coasters were scary. It's like, this isn't a roller coaster. This is the fucking teacups. And you have to queue up an hour to go on the teacups.
Man,
it's so busy.
While I was away, I think I found like where Sips fans come from, because holy crap, like people, Windsor... I think I was recognized like 20 times. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. It was just like everywhere I went, it's like, Sips? It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? What are you doing here? Oh, well, I'm just on a little vacation. And everybody's like, are you here for the wedding? It's like, no. What the fuck would I come to the wedding for? Jesus.
What, the royal wedding?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Is that what they were there for? Are Sips fans big fans of the Royals?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they want to see Harry and Meghan get hitched. They want to. They want to gate crash. They want to get in there.
Sips is the king, obviously, so they're there to see the prince.
That's right. Yeah. It was really surprising. Like normally I go places and I'm just nobody knows who I am and stuff, and that's fine. Like it's pretty cool. But it's nice to bump into people who recognize you as well. But I just couldn't believe how many of them there were. It was nuts. I guess like most Sips fans live in Windsor, so.
I think it's a concentration.
Yeah.
It's like a Sips commune.
If you're looking for like-minded nerds that you want to spend the rest of your life with, I would recommend moving to Windsor, because there's
first of all, Windsor's a bit of a small town, right? It's only got it's only like 30,000 people live there or something. It's not very big.
No, the castle is big. The castle looks like it could house 30,000 people.
It's a tourist
It's
spot,
nuts.
really, isn't it? It's a tourist town on the outskirts. It's a picturesque, pretty town with a castle and lots of restaurants and Legoland, I guess, and other stuff.
Last time we did a Triforce podcast, we talked about homeless people at length. Well, Windsor...
There ain't none in Windsor.
No, there's tons. There was fucking tons. Yeah, all outside the castle. I guess they just figure, this is where all the tourists are, so I'm just going to set up my makeshift bed in this bus shelter and swear a lot in front of kids and stuff, and... Yeah, it was.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it was really good.
Well, I remember the one thing I remember about Windsor was that when I was just starting YouTube, I went for a job interview at an advertising company in Windsor, and it was one of these like drug. I've told this story, I'm sure, before, but it was one of these drug companies where you had to sell. You had to come up with like ideas for selling pharmaceuticals.
Right.
That sounds exciting.
Right.
You're feeling down. How about you stick one of these up your ass, and that'll really brighten up your day.
Diabetes taking its toll on you? Maybe you need some medication, bitch.
Try a Snickers bar.
Basically, for the interview, I had to come up with like loads of ideas, right, to present them. So I bought like a sketch pad, and I divided it into like a grid, and I drew loads of little ideas. So, for example, like I don't know, one of them would be like, you feeling sluggish today? And it's like a man like with the welly boots on.
A man looking like a slug.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, you could feel like $1 million, with these, and it's like new shoes, but they're like got the pill's name on them or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That kind of shitty stuff.
With Buckaroo anal spray.
And it was like this advertising office. I've definitely told this story. Anyway, I went in there to the interview.
Did you get the job?
No, I went in there to the interview.
No, I think
it was
when you said about like the 4 corners storyboard thing, I thought this guy needs to change his game plan. He's never going to get a job.
Well, no, it wasn't even 4 corner storyboard. It was like literally one piece of paper. You had to come up with 30 different ideas on that one piece of paper, right? For like completely different adverts.
So all of that effort, let me guess, they were going to pay you like 20 grand a year or something.
No, I think it was pretty well paid actually. But 25. I got in there. He loved my ideas, and he was like, "All right, go in this room with this artist and come up with some more."
I like that. He loved my ideas. Didn't get the job though.
He loved my ideas.
So wait, you gave them a bunch of ideas, then they got an artist to draw a bunch of these ideas. This is not a job interview.
They didn't give you
this
the
is
job.
not a job interview. They're stealing ideas from you. That's all it is.
Basically, this is what it was. Yeah, I spent like a day coming up with ideas, really good ideas that they really liked. They paired me up with artists to maybe this wasn't even an interview at all. Now I'm thinking about it.
Sounds like it
now
was a big swindle.
you guys are changing my fucking mind on this. This is why I tell you these things.
You know what? I think this is.
I should tell you other stuff that's happened in my life.
March back in there with your lawyer and be like,
I went round to this celebrity's house, and he was telling me I should try his new cocktail ideas, and he gave me a couple of pills, and he told me my cocktail just weren't. Well, I woke up later anyway.
Is this Bill Cosby? You went to Bill Cosby's house.
Didn't get the job.
You went to Kevin Spacey's cocaine party. I see. That's good.
So, I think there's a whole market for companies to do this. You've got an IT problem. You claim there's an interview, get people in. You say, well, the first order of business is to fix this IT issue we've got here. And they fix it, you go, brilliant. Sadly, you didn't get the job. But
it's a fucking
I think that might have been what happened.
Yeah.
So I spent like 2 hours with this artist guy, like coming up with even more ideas, and I thought they were all fine, but he wasn't very good, and he was kind of arguing with me, and I was like, look, we'll just I'll do what you said. I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't just met the guy. Anyway, came back through into like this room with this boss guy, and he was like a Simon Cowell type figure, and he sort of, I sort of presented him my ideas and stuff, and he just fucking lost his shit. He went completely ape shit. He started like fully like it was X Factor, and Simon Cowell was just going off on one at like the poor fucking chump who clearly can't sing. I was the poor chump who clearly couldn't sing, apparently. So he just like lambasted me like I've never experienced in my life. And at a certain point, I was like, I just held up my hand and I was like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. And then I walked out, and his secretary was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I've never seen anything like this before. And I got to Windsor train station. I remember just like, I saw like a bin there, and I had this like nice sketch pad that I bought, and it was like, I spent a whole like loads of time preparing for this thing, and I just like chucked it in the fucking bin.
This is like the start of a movie.
Yeah, you were crying. You were just like a little tear was forming in your eye.
You looked at your sketch pad, and it had Lewis's fantastic ideas written on the front.
Had all your ideas on it, and then
very slow zoom in on the bin, zoom in on your face.
You were just tearing the page out, getting ready to crumple it up, and then all of a sudden you feel a hand on your wrist stopping you at the last minute. You look up, and it was Prince Harry shaking his head.
You passed the test.
Shaking his head knowingly at you. He knew you were destined for great things.
Drink this, he said.
And he said, what were you thinking? Those ideas were dreadful. I just spoke to my friend at the advertising agency. Yeah. You're disinvited from the wedding.
And then it's like a Jedi montage, like the Queen, the ghost of the Queen, and like Prince Charles, like Jedi style, are all like behind him and stuff.
They're all there glowing blue.
These frightful ideas, dear boy. Your ideas were cardboard ideas. Absolutely dreadful.
Get out of my sight.
That'd be the worst Jedi ghost ever. That'd be hilarious. Can you imagine that? If you're a Jedi or you're a ninja or something, and your ghost buddy is Prince Charles.
I think we should try to sneak in round the back.
Prince Charles is going to give the go.
Why did I get Chucky for my Jedi ghost? I could have had anyone else.
Let's look at some local architecture.
Prince Charles, we're here to kill somebody. Come on, I'm an assassin.
Forget about it. Have you seen my new range of Dutchy original creams? Come and have a look.
Fuck me. Oh, that'd be good.
Oh, man.
I think that's the top of the list for Jedi companions.
Force ghost
Jedi companions that I don't want.
Yeah. Oh, Prince Philip, his dad might be even worse.
Oh, these folks around here look a little dark-skinned to me. Let's move on.
Please, Ghost Prince. Please. Give me a break.
God damn it.
Holy crap.
Oh, God.
So what were you doing, P-Flex? Go on, tell us about your trip away.
In Kerno?
Yeah.
Went to the Eden Project.
Oh, nice.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I live quite near Kew Gardens, so we're kind of spoiled for fancy garden centres, honestly. And Kew Gardens is magic. And I think that Eden Project is like Kew Gardens for people that haven't been to Kew Gardens. So you go into these big domes, which are very fancy. But the jungle thing is just kind of a lot of paving. You walk around, there's some plants, but none of them are particularly interesting to look at. It's quite hot in there. And it's meant to be kind of educational, right? So it lays it on real thick, the educational stuff. Like it's telling you about the farmers and their lives and the crops that they grow and stuff. Whereas Q is just like, look at this amazing fucking bed of flowers. You're like, wow. You know what I mean? So I felt that was better. And there's a thing at the Q at Eden Project called the Core, which is like, it sounds like the final level of some kind of shooter, but it's not. It's some educational center. And they had it closed because they were renovating it for the summer. Because obviously Easter is, it's busy, but it's not like their big season. The big season is summer.
It seems like a dumb time to be doing renovations, but I guess they got to get ready for the summer at some point.
Right, but why not do it over the winter, like December or January, those kind of months?
Or like now when half term is over and like nobody's going on vacation.
Right in the middle of exactly Easter half term. They were like, yep, the one thing you all really wanted to come here and do is closed. I was like, oh great. Yeah. So it was okay. It was all right. I didn't really see it at its best, I don't think.
Well, the first thing I heard about the Eden Project was that I thought it was like some sort of bubble dome where basically they sealed it off from the rest of the world. And I thought for some reason, I thought it was a thing where...
I just thought it was like a bunch of greenhouses.
I thought it was like a tester for if like we cut off a little biome from the rest of the world and could survive and it could like live. And it was like a little aquarium, what's it's called? A terrarium. A terrarium? Is that what it's called? Where it's like an enclosed little ecosystem.
I think a terrarium is what you keep ants in, isn't it?
What's it called where it's like that enclosed thing? It's like a snow globe, but with seals.
A word of advice, okay?
What?
Never go for a job interview at the Eden Project, for fuck's sake.
You suck.
You suck at this.
A globarium. Whatever it's called.
Right.
I fucking don't know. But it's not that, apparently, no? It's not. It's just some gardens. It's just it not.
I think it's just like a botanical garden.
It's just a garden.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have a dome? A pretty big dome.
It's got a bunch of domes. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, honestly,
what's in the dome?
I've never even been, and I know more than you about the Eden Project.
So
what the hell?
one of the domes is like a jungle. It's different biomes, right? So one is like the jungle zone. It's a bit like a garden center,
the Crystal
merged
Maze.
with the Crystal Maze, exactly.
Right.
So one of them is like the jungle biome. One of them is like a Mediterranean biome, and you just go in and walk around, and there's some plants in there. And the weird thing is, in the Italian biome, there's a restaurant. So you're in the middle of this biome, look at these plants, and there's the restaurant. So we had lunch in there. It was very nice, but the weird thing is, do you know what? It brings me to another thing I want to talk about, okay?
I mean, Italians love eating, and they like restaurants, so it makes sense that it would be in their biome.
Right? There were people there that obviously come to eat at that restaurant, and some of the people that we had lunch with have lunch at that restaurant often. Like they'll drive to go to that restaurant as if it's like really good. So I was expecting it to be really good. It was not really good. It was like super average food and very expensive because it's in the Eden Project.
Right.
So I was tempted to go to the complaints biome and register my distaste, but there was not one.
No.
There was no complaints biome.
No. You wanted to certify that they grow their own chips there and stuff.
I just knocked over a couple of plants on my way out.
Good one.
Did they grow their own shit there?
No. So I think some of the stuff they had apparently comes from something, but who the fuck knows? They don't go around cutting down plants and serving them to the diners.
Was there an Arctic biome?
No, see, there was like, as far as I could tell, there was just two.
That sucks.
There's the Mediterranean one and there's the jungle one. So that's it.
That sucks. That sounds pretty boring.
And then there's kind of an outdoorsy one.
What about a volcano? What about a lava biome?
No lava biome.
Okay, well that place is
no
dead to
ice
me.
biome, no lava biome, and also the stuff outdoors, the gardens and things. It's all just plants that you can grow real easy in the UK because they have to grow them in the fucking UK. So it's like the same shit you see everywhere else.
Yeah.
It just happens to be quite a few of them. But also because it was only April, nothing had started growing yet. So like I said, I didn't think I saw it at its best because a lot of stuff was just like, yeah, this will be ready in 3 months. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. We did kind of come in April. The kids enjoyed it though. So that's all that
What's
matters,
that
really.
big show every year in the UK and it's like on TV and it's like the flowers and you
Chelsea
have all those...
Flower Show?
Oh, possibly, yeah. And they turn up and like they've all got big pumpkins and melons that they've been growing all year and whatever. Is that
like the Horticultural Society, Royal Horticultural Society
it's always
show or
on
something.
TV and it always makes me feel just so depressed. Like I don't know why. Every time it's on, like it's meant to be all bright and colorful and like wow, the stuff's all amazing and stuff. And for me, I just feel like, oh man, geez, but turn this off quickly. I can't watch this.
It's a very
Can't handle
Britishy
it.
thing, like Bake Off and and all these, it puts you in a very sort of mood. Like when we went to New Zealand, Australia, those types of British TV show were very popular because they kind of exude this cultural feeling of Britishness and Englishness.
Because they're all competing on very, very sort of non-competitive things, and they're all just being nice to each other.
Yeah,
just like, let's see who can grow a lovely garden, and let's see who can bake a lovely cake. I want to see the Great British Tea Off, and people just have to make a cup of tea.
That's probably already in production, P-Flax.
Tea Off.
The
and
tea
people
off.
tune in thinking it's a golf show.
I might not be able to out dunk you on the court, but holy shit, watch out, my geraniums are...
Try this muffin. Yeah.
Try this muffin, yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought the Eden Project was it sounds like a sci-fi film, doesn't it? And I always thought it was something weird, but no, it's just two big greenhouses. Mm-hmm. One with it fixed at the rainforest environment and one that fixed at the Mediterranean environment. And I guess we did a very similar thing when we went to Singapore. They have this thing called the Gardens by the Bay, which is one of the biggest sort of tourist attractions there. And it's, again, two massive greenhouses, one rainforest, one Mediterranean. And to the people in Asia who come and visit Singapore as like a tourist resort, seeing the Mediterranean sort of climate and gardens and stuff there is quite interesting to them because, the place, the Singapore is a rainforest. It's a jungle sort of climate. And so, having the rainforest simulation is almost like a bit weird as well because it's almost like you've got a biodome which is simulating all the plants you're growing anyway. In here, but it's the same thing with them. But this was on a much, much grander scale, and I think it's relatively new. It was built in the last sort of few years. It's it was kind of nice though to like walk around, but also kind of weird to see how artificial and kind of stripped down the whole thing is. It's like it's really very much managed gardens. It's not. Nothing is allowed to grow wild at all. Every leaf is in its place.
They keep the bushes trimmed.
Yes. Well, I suppose that is a nice thing.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a trim bush?
I guess the other thing is that because it is this constant fixed environment, like season, it's easy for plants to grow there all year round. And so you can just keep having the plants flowering over and over again, I guess, rather than anything getting like all the leaves falling off and stuff. I don't know how it works. I'm not a botanist, but I assume that is something to do with it. What? So you went with your family, did you, P-Flax? And did they like it? Did you do anything else in Cornwall? Why did you go down there?
Did you have any clotted cream scones?
No, that's not something we went for. We were in more fishing towns.
Right.
So Mrs. F she loves a fucking holiday, that woman, right? She loves it. And she'll take as many holidays as she can. We've already got 2 more holidays planned this year already.
Fuck.
Cool.
Right? So we're going away in May
to
somewhere in Essex that she's found, which looks nice. I've never been to Essex, really. I don't think. I've maybe driven through it or I've been there.
Whereabouts in Essex?
I can't remember the name of the place. But it's nice. It's some coastal town. I don't know.
Clacton?
No. And then...
Southend?
Not Southend either. I've been to Southend to watch some football. Bournemouth played Southend in the FA Cup a few years ago. We lost. But anyway, the other thing I'm doing is my dad and his wife go on cruises a lot, right? Not my cup of tea at all. Never been on a cruise in my life. Never
my
looked at it.
parents are big into that too.
Yeah, it's something for
cruising all
old
the
people,
fucking time. Yeah, it's nuts.
So my dad and his wife go on these cruises, and my dad's always telling me about these cruises, and I was like, and he's like, you should come with us. I was like, I don't know, dude. Those things are like super expensive, and he was like, no, we'll pay for it. So he's paying for my whole family to go on a cruise. With him and his wife. That's a lot of yayo, right? That's a lot of cheddar right there.
I don't know. Well, I would look into it. Some cruises are pretty cheap, actually.
This
one's not.
This is the Oasis of the Seas. When it was built, it was the biggest cruise liner in the world. It's 6,000 people that it can hold. Right. It's like 17 stories high. It's a town on the sea, and it goes around the Caribbean. And we've got like 2 staterooms and stuff with little balconies and windows and all the rest of it.
Ooh.
So it's like a week in Florida with my dad, and then we're going on a cruise for a week, and then we're going home.
Holy shit, man.
Mrs. F would still like to book another holiday between those other 2.
Well, you got a free one, right? So.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, how many fucking holidays do we need? Like, I hate leaving the house, guys. I hate it.
Yeah, same.
Right?
Holidays are the best.
No,
come
they're
on.
not.
A holiday to me consists of like my mornings when like recording stuff with you guys, no one else in the house. That's a holiday for me, genuinely. Like if Mrs. F said I'm taking the kids away for a month, I'd be like, that is the greatest vacation of all time.
Yeah,
I'm just going to get up whenever I want, play fucking video games all day, sit around in my pants, drink a shitload of cider, watch whatever I want on TV, make a big old noise. Vacation time. I wouldn't even need to leave the building for a year. Yeah. If someone said to me, you're going to be in solitary confinement in this office, the office I'm in, they'll give you all the food and everything else that you need, but you cannot leave, I'd be like, bingo. Perfect. I'd miss my kids and my wife, obviously, but it would be worth it.
Yeah.
Can we just go back 1 second? I mean, I've just looked up Essex on the map, right? There's only 2 coastal towns in Essex, really, Clacton and Southend. But also, like, the other places on the coast are, like, pretty shit. I mean, Grays, Gravesend, fucking Foulness Island, Malden, Mersey, fucking Harwich. These are not, like, particularly nice places. Where are you going?
Nice place. I don't know. She's found a nice place. I can't remember exactly where it is.
Margate. They're going to Margate.
No, it's not.
That's in Kent.
It's an island. It's something. It's not Canvey Island, but it's some nice little place in Essex.
Canvey Island's a fucking shithole, dude.
No, I'm not going to fucking Canvey Island. Look at this place. It's called Foulness Island.
Foulness.
Yeah, that's pretty rough down there.
That's not something you want.
No. What goes on down there?
Gross. There's an island down there called the Island of Gran. Oh wait, Isle of Grain. All right, that makes more sense.
You just get there. It's, hi, dearie.
I've been left here for ages.
It's a whole colony of grannies.
Our families just dump us here and don't come back.
All right, it's
we
Mersey
have to fend
Island.
for ourselves.
It's
We've
Mersey
almost run out of Werther's originals.
Yeah.
We've knitted ourselves a makeshift shelter, but I don't know how long we can live here. We can't watch Countdown in 3 years.
They've knitted giant biomes. I'm into the tea biome and the cake biome. Right, so go to Colchester and scroll down a bit, and there's Mersey Island.
Okay.
And it's there. There's like a nature reserve. There's all kinds of... It's nice. It's meant to be really nice.
Oh, near Fingering Hoe. Yeah.
Fingering Hoe. Nice.
Fingering Hoe. Yeah,
these are great names for places.
I'll head there in the evening.
Jesus Christ!
Just popping out.
The Essex coastline. What a fucking choice of holiday. I mean, you could have gone into if you got up the coast a bit to like Aldborough in Sussex. That was much nicer.
Have you been to Kent?
Yes, the Garden of England. I lived in Kent for 2 years.
It is beautiful.
When you go on family vacations with kids, though, you end up going to some pretty weird places, right? Like you never like go anywhere super duper exciting. You always end up going to places where there's going to be stuff for kids to do, and they always seem to be around like crappy small towns or in the middle of nowhere somehow or whatever. But when you go on vacation with like your wife and you don't have kids, or with your girlfriend, you always end up going somewhere kind of cool, right? Like traditionally exciting place to go to. Like you go to like Egypt or like, I don't know, South America or something like that. You never go to those places with kids.
That sex theme park in the Netherlands.
Whoa, there's one.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's weird, like hearing you guys talk about these types of holidays, P-Flax, but it's also super kind of normal, right? To do the kind of things that you guys are doing. I feel like. Weirdly, I know you guys have way more responsibilities than me in terms of like kids and, you know, like families and just the complexity of that, right? But for me, it feels like I'm not like you said, P-Flax, earlier, you know, you the dream holiday for you would be just sitting around in your pants, drinking cider, playing video games. I could kind of have the opportunity to do that, but I don't. I feel like I also have a responsibility to kind of
not do that,
keep everything going here.
Yeah,
and,
no, of course. I mean, you know, when you say that, you know, you don't have responsibilities the way me and Sips do. I mean, I look after my kids. I make sure Mrs. F is happy, but I don't have people relying on me to keep a business going so that they don't lose their house or their flat or have to move or whatever. I mean, that's a big responsibility, having people relying on you and your vision for the business and stuff. I've no doubt at all that that's a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress. That's why I go easy on you.
It's tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes I feel like I'm sort of forced into doing things that I don't particularly want to do.
That's why we've hired you some help,
two...
Lewis. That's right. It's Ghost Jedi Prince Charles here to guide you through the tribulations.
Here to offer some advice if you need any.
Well, there's these two old dads who make me turn up every Thursday morning to record this stupid audio
sound
thing.
Wonderful. Yes. I'm a big fan.
How do I get out of it?
Sorry, one is a big fan.
Everyone in Windsor, along with me, is a big fan. of sips.
That one is thing apparently came from Queen Victoria. She was the first queen to ever use that sort of term, like one is not amused, or
we this and we that.
Yeah. Like, apparently came from Queen Victoria, but like I think she got it from someone else, but she popularized the whole sort of like the royal.
I thought you were talking about the term fan.
The royal,
as in like
one
she was the
royal
first
we.
fan. And where did that come from? Was it because she threw her fan at someone, or I don't know? Like that's what I thought you were going for there.
No. I was talking about.
You were talking about the royal
like
we,
the royal one. You know, like one is not amused. One is a bit randy.
A bit peeved.
One is feeling a bit.
One is peeved.
One is peeved. Yeah.
Sorry, Mummy.
Pop your clogs already.
He must call her mummy. He must call her mummy, right?
But yeah, probably does.
I was thinking about that a little bit because of obviously they have their royal family Christmas, don't they? And I read that the Queen. Oh, she used to love playing on the Wii. The Wii games console. Apparently, she was a natural at Wii bowling, which I found very kind of endearing.
They always do that with the super rich, don't they? They always try to come up with something
they normalize them, right?
that like the poor can relate to. They'll be like, oh. They just sit around and do nothing all day with all their money.
But that's exactly what I remember doing at Christmas. They just sit around and eat canned
turkey and play on the Wii at Christmas just like we do.
I remember when the Wii came out, I had my nan round and she was doing the Wii bowling. Yeah. And, she was getting into it. And then my dad was doing the Wii table tennis and he was, sometimes you have these events where someone who's a bit too old does something a bit too physically active, right? Like we used to have a garden, and in our old place before we moved into Chipping-Ongar, family house, and we had this badminton court like set up haphazardly in the garden. It wasn't actually. It was kind of there wasn't enough space, but. It was one of these things, and we had like a garden party there, like for some like my dad's 65th or something like that.
Candlelight
something
soiree
like
in your backyard, was it?
Some big like do where we invite all the uncles and aunties around,
right.
And you just have a big party, and it's kind of in the afternoon on a summer's day, and it's nice. Anyway, there were all these ancient old men, about 65 or 70,
David
leaping
Cameron
around, doing these like playing
John
badminton.
Major turned up, and all the
just literally giving themselves. They were all like bent over, my back, like by the end of it, they were all like hunched over, like rubbing their knees and stuff.
Nice.
After just doing exercise of a level that they've not been used to in 20 years. That sometimes happens. People just go over enthusiastic with things. Like when we did this shoot, we were playing flipping swing ball. Do you remember swing ball? Like we were on this Surviving Mars shoot.
The ball with a rope attached to a post.
Yeah.
And
they got the swing ball out, and suddenly, I was like teleported back to when I was 10 years old, and I had a swing ball in my garden.
Right.
And I started, going all. I was like, I'm the swing ball ninja, and like tried to remember how to play it, and I was obviously completely hopeless, and I just exhausted myself and injured myself trying to replicate some childish desire to, like a trampoline. You remember trampolining?
Yeah.
Oh, what a joy. But
I used
doing
to hurt
that
my
now
back all the time on trampolines, I think.
when you were 10.
Well, yeah, because
you were the hunched. You were like,
yeah, but I was like 7 feet tall when I was 10, so it was. I was prone to it.
You were just like a long reed, just like snapping in the wind.
It was, yeah. I remember like every time we'd go to my friend's house, he had a trampoline. We went like over to his house for a sleepover, and we actually had like a solid 5 hours on the trampoline. I'd always have like a fucking destroyed back at the end.
But it gives you a really bad like headache as well after too long on the trampoline.
Yeah.
There's a place near here. It's near Heathrow Airport. That's called something like Bounce or something, clever like that. It's like
it's just a whole room full of them. It's a whole
fucking warehouse full of trampolines. And I mean, we went there for a kids' party. It was okay. The kids had fun. They're all sweaty and jumping around and everything, so they're having fun. But there's a lot of fucking grown-ups there. An awful lot. It's like midweek. It was like a Friday or something. and there's all these fucking grown-ups trampolining. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with your life?
There's
really
some parents
it's the kind
are really
of people,
like that though, right? Like,
but I think when I went to the gym when I had my personal trainer, he invited me to one of these things. He was like, "Oh yeah, me and the lads are going out to the trampolining," and I was like,
"What are you 8? I mean, come on!" Like, what I don't understand is like those people. I bet they look down on the fact that I'm sitting around playing video games. You're on a fucking trampoline, my friend. Dota is much harder than trampolining. Let me tell you something. I've been playing Dota for 5 years. I still suck. If I spent 5 years on a trampoline, I'd be the best.
I'd say
because you just jump up and down.
I'd say that's more fun too. Trampolining's not actually fun.
Right, you just jump. It's like after a while, you're like, well, I've done that. I mean, gravity's
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind
it.
doing though. I wouldn't mind going in one of those air tunnel things where the air blasts up and you float in the air, like you're kind of like you're skydiving. You know those like things. What are they called?
I've never seen that. What's
that?
Yeah, you have to put a jumpsuit on and some goggles, and then the wind starts, but it blows from underneath you, and then you just sort of like you float up in the air like on your belly. Yeah.
But don't you feel like any of those things? I feel like you'd get in it and they'd be like, right, 5 minutes and then the ride is over. You'd be like, okay, 30 seconds in, you'd be like, this is all it's going to be for 5 minutes.
Stuff like that always reminds me of like the prize they get on The Apprentice for winning the task. Yeah, good job, team. Fucking slam dunk.
I've laid on a weekend of
a glitzy weekend.
Swimming in a very small pool. Great. Here you go. There's your very small swimming pool. They just swim. It's like half
I got you
length.
A couple of day vouchers to Legoland, Windsor.
He always says he's laid on. I've laid on. Like he always puts it that way. You watch it, you notice he always says,
he's always laying
I've
on
laid
something.
on this for you. Laid on.
Is that the place where in America they have the sponsor though? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm watching RuPaul's Drag Race and obviously they have the mini tasks, and then before the maxi challenge or whatever, and then but they have like all of the prizes for it are like, you've won $1,000 of gift vouchers from bigolddildos.com. It's like,
I've laid on a couple of XXL pizzas from Tito's Pizzeria for you, sponsored by Tito's Pizzeria. Guys, enjoy. Any toppings you want for free.
Talking about that, I've been listening to some other podcasts, right? I'm not cheating on us. I'm just listening, seeing what they're up to.
Yeah.
And
that's not cheating. It's scoping out the competition.
I'm looking at the competition.
What are
we're
they
on
doing
Spotify
that we're
now.
not doing, Flax?
I've got some things. I'll tell you, right? Because we're on Spotify now, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to up our fucking game, lads.
Royalties. We're going to get paid royalties for every listen on Spotify.
Get like
so put us on repeat if you just go to work and leave us on repeat all day.
Just stick it up. I think that's actually against their terms of service, Sips. You shouldn't.
Also, I think we'd get about 0.01 cents for doing that. I think you have to get like absolutely millions to get like a buck.
Better than 0.00 cents, Lewis.
Yeah, he's right, Lewis. Look after the 0.0001 cents and the pounds will look after themselves. That's what
right,
the old saying goes.
That's right.
So here's one thing that they do. First of all, they'll have like sponsors and shit. So they'll say our sponsor this week is Scott's Custard Vape Juice. You can get it on the website vapeclub.co. You could do that kind of thing. And they pay you money. I don't know how much, but they pay you money. And the other thing they have is, in the little downtimes, like when there's a pause, or if we're just going, or someone says something shit, like I say something shit, they'll be like, boop, 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 bit of music, and then it'll come back in to the podcast. So it's like a little interstitial kind of transition to keep it fresh. And because people like tunes like, boop, 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 boop,
okay,
like
let's try it now. Everybody just go quiet, quick. Ready? All right, well, we're back. Triforce Podcast. I hope you enjoyed that little jingle dingle there that played just then. It's a little
this week's sponsor.
Shabba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-doo. Yeah, big shout out to our sponsors
Big
this
Frank's
week.
butt plugs. If you like a big butt, go to Frank's.au.
Tito's Dick Piercing as well. That's our other sponsor this week.
If you want to get your dick hole
Tito's. Doesn't he also do pizza?
He does pizza too, yeah.
I saw it advertised on The Apprentice.
Tito's Pizza and dick piercing.
Those are olives on the pizza. They're old gross piercings that have gone wrong. They have to chop the tip off.
Come for the pizza.
Foreskins that have to be removed.
To septic infection.
Piercings.
That's right.
So no, I've been listening to podcasts too. So for example, I think the typical thing that they have is 30 seconds of ads at the start. So I've got an app called Pocket Cast. So as soon as I load up the podcast, I hit the 30-second skip button, and it skips those ads at the start, right? And then in the middle, they are usually required to run like a minute of ads in the middle. And so I can, again, as soon as I know that's coming, as soon as the little boop, 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 boop thing comes, I'm like, oh, get my phone out of my pocket, hit 30-second skip twice. There you go. And I've usually missed like a couple of seconds, but honestly, like when you listen to audiobook, you don't fucking catch everything anyway. Fuck it. Yeah. So, I never have to really listen to ads, but occasionally I catch the intros and outros of some of them. And so I've been listening to the Vox podcast, like Today Explained. And it's kind of, okay, first of all, it's a bit depressing.
Well, so is the Triforce podcast. I mean...
No, but let me explain a couple of things to you, right? So first of all, I have this on my phone, okay? I have a Samsung Galaxy S8 phone, and it has this news thing on it.
Look at you.
Called...
Let's give a round of applause for Big Dick Phone Haver over here.
Let's just talk about the...
How
this is
much
my
did
first
you pay for
Android.
Why can't you just say my phone? We got to say what it is.
Well, no, because I moved from Apple to Android and about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've had this thing on my phone since I got it. And everyone must have this as well, because anyone who's got this phone, it's a really common phone, it's Android, so everyone must have this. There's a thing called Update or whatever that gives me like fucking news, right? Occasionally. Like sometimes it's on the front of my screen, and it gives me like a news notification. And
it says briefing, that's what I get.
I tried to turn it off, but I couldn't fucking figure out how to turn it off. And so I ended up having to Google it and turn off its notifications. The reason I wanted to turn off the notifications is because they were always very stressful news notifications, like... breaking news, missiles fired from North Korea, kind of like seriously like spooky messages and like and stuff like, Donald Trump executes major missile attack on Syria, Russia, war, blah, 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 right? Like terrifying stuff. Like I was like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to hear this like stressful shit. Like it was really kind of making me like I kind of, but the way it was, the headlines were so sensationalized that they didn't really, that it kind of, your brain jumped to the worst. And the news has a habit of doing this, and in order to provoke, be clickbaity, and YouTube has a massive problem with clickbait at the moment. We could talk about that if you want, because that's quite interesting to talk about. It's literally like, for example, there's a lot of people who are like, have you heard about Strip Fortnite, for example?
No.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So there's like one of the biggest like things on YouTube at the moment is Strip Fortnite, where it's like kids playing Fortnite, but they've got their girlfriend or sister stripping off clothes every time they get a kill.
Oh, shit. Googling right now.
And
she's good looking.
Is that actually a thing?
Look at the
millions
titties.
and millions and millions of views. Like tens of hundreds of millions of views.
Wait, how old are these people who are stripping,
they're not
though?
kids, they're teenagers.
Right.
They're
But
legal.
often they even do that to even make it even more clickbaity. So, for example, some people aren't even doing that. It's just a clickbait title. So the clickbait title is Strip Fortnite with my 13-year-old sister or whatever. Right?
How do I filter through
That's it.
and find the real ones, though? That's what I want to know. I want to find a real stripper
Where's the
stripping
good
Fortnite.
shit? Where's the good shit?
Yeah.
It's a real problem. The world of clickbait that we live in, and YouTube has got this massive issue with it, and it's pretty disgusting.
It's only a problem if you're an idiot and you click on all that stuff. I've never fucking clicked on any of that shit because I don't want to watch any of that shit.
Part of the problem is that it's a negative spiral, right? Where everything has to be clickbait because only clickbait gets the views, and therefore everyone starts making their videos be more clickbait, and then the trending just is full of clickbait, where it's like none of the titles actually are anything to do with anything in the video.
Man,
people are just clicking on stuff
people
random.
are suckers.
But that drives people away from YouTube, though, because it's like so negative. Every time you click on a video,
it's YouTube. There's not going to be fucking nudity or anything on YouTube, right? Like, what? Who cares? Why is anybody clicking on this stuff? Like,
Dude, I'm watching one right now.
But that's part of the problem, though, that YouTube love this kind of shitty stuff, though. Like Logan Paul, YouTube loved him. All the people in the office of YouTube love him. The kind of people who work in YouTube like this stuff. That YouTube hate gaming. They hate like other stuff. So that they want vloggers. They want dead bodies hanging in forests because it's dramatic and it's trending and it's newsworthy. They like it. They don't like us not liking it.
Bastards! Fuck you, YouTube!
Seriously. Anyway.
Dude, wait, I'm just watching one of these strip Fortnite videos, right?
Right.
One kill, this one's in German. Ein Kill equals ein Kleidungsstück ausheisen mit meiner Freundin.
Well, right.
This is by the Schinken brothers, all right? So this girl at the start of the strip, hold on. She's not wearing just jeans and a top. She's wearing, and I'm not even exaggerating, a coat, a scarf, a headband, a jumper, and she takes off the headband, she takes off the scarf. One of the strip things, she takes off her fucking watch. What kind of strip is this? There's no titties on show?
That is a YouTube strip, my friend. That's what happens. Because they can't show off any of the goods, right? Like, they'll just get the video be flagged or removed straight away. So what's the point in clicking on it in the first place?
But I think they end up with cleavage. You know, they end up with, like, something that, you know, we used to have a problem with, like, the boob titty ladies just doing that big old thumbnail cleavage.
Again, look, there's a whole wealth of free porn that you can watch elsewhere on the internet.
I know.
Why are you looking at tits on YouTube, for fuck's sake?
Because people can't fucking help themselves. You know what it's like?
Dumb.
You're a dad on your own with a cider, and your wife's gone away for a month, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, there's a beautiful place called RedTube on the internet.
What did you say it was called?
RedTube.
Rape tube?
No, RedTube. I didn't say rape tube.
God, I thought you said rape tube.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, Flax.
I was like, damn, so dark.
So, anyway, I've been listening to this fucking podcast, and it's again, like, I've had to stop listening to it already because, first of all, even though I'm skipping the adverts, they are driving me fucking nuts. So they advertise.
This shit is so garbage, though. It's all like made up garbage, isn't it? They make it seem like it's a bigger deal than it is, or a bigger thing than it even is. I bet you most people don't even fucking click that shit. Like, it's like YouTube views and stuff. There's always been controversy around like view bots and stuff as well. I don't think that it's as big as anyone says it is. I don't believe it for a second.
So no, Vox is good. Like, it's not. It doesn't feel clickbaity. It doesn't feel. It's kind of the whole idea of the podcast is that it's kind of going to explain the stories of today and talk to actual experts about stuff. So for example, like. Some of them are really interesting. Some of them I'm not so interested in because it's a very America-centric thing about a lot of America's problems with, you know, for example, like drug stuff, like specific court cases, the police brutality. Like each kind of episode is quite well tailored, and it's a very modern podcast in a world where news media, you know, like for example, they did this one great podcast where they were talking about how there's this hedge fund that owns like 100 of the local newspapers in America, for example, and
right.
And John Oliver did a great segment on it as well. If you don't watch Last Week Tonight, it's like my favorite show. He did a really great segment about how local news is just being controlled or gobbled up by
did you see that video?
Big media companies and homogenized.
But the one where all the local news stations that were owned by one, I can't remember the name of the company that owns it, Sinclair or something.
Yes,
they
that's
all
the
put
same
out
one.
this one message. It's corrupting our democracy or something like that. The
Yeah.
exact
Did
same
the
message.
FBI have a grudge against the president?
It's just
like,
unbelievable.
You know, that was how the news story opened on like 100 channels. It's kind of like a very biased problem. Anyway, Vox is great.
Not biased. That's not biased. There's a difference between biased, which is where you buy the Times or the Guardian or the Telegraph or the Mail based on your political slant. I understand bias. Everybody that buys a paper understands that they're buying one that generally agrees with their point of view, and the commentator is the editorial of the paper, not the reporting. The reporting should be fact-based, but the editorial element of the paper, where someone has an article, like you get some fucking twat saying why everybody should be deported unless they were born specifically in, you know, only the big cities of England. If you were born in the rural parts, you should be excised, blah, you know, that kind of just absolute bollocks that they say, all hateful stuff.
Yeah.
In any paper, or that everybody with any money more than a tenner should give it all to the nearest homeless person. We should all just be living, you know, agrarian lifestyles. So that editorial is deeply biased. But there's a difference between biased and literally being a mouthpiece for a government. Regardless of what political slant you are, the news should be separate. And the fact that it now isn't, that is a big fucking problem. Because a lot of people do not do anything other than turn on the news and go, that must be the truth, or it wouldn't be on TV. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Well, this is the problem. And clickbait doesn't help, and sensationalism doesn't help. And the problem is that, you know, it even seems to encroach into things that should be protected, like the BBC, because the BBC ends up recruiting reporters and people who've worked in places like the Daily Mail, for example, or other things. And so as a result, they come from these backgrounds where they have to hit these targets and to survive, and everything has to make money.
As well, yeah.
So anyway, the Vox podcast Today Explained, I actually really quite liked it. I listened through a whole bunch, but the one thing I wanted to talk about really wasn't the quality of the reporting, because I think it's pretty good. It's more the adverts, right? So they have these fucking adverts for toothbrushes, right? And I'm not going to say the brand, but the way they do it is the most awful, cringeworthy thing ever.
Your teeth are yellow. They need a clean. Get this toothbrush. Do.
I guess what they've done is they've had to do the same. They've had to advertise this toothbrush for a whole month, right?
Oh.
So for 30 podcasts, it's like the same. It's like them still advertising this toothbrush, and it's like rough because they've kind of run out of creative ways to do it, and so they're basically like ringing up a guy. They're like, "Hey Jeff," it's like, "Hey, I know you're not at work today." No, I'm not at work. But you run the sports desk here at Fox. Oh yeah. So did you use these toothbrushes? No, I just use a regular old toothbrush. Oh, have you ever considered? It's like this toothbrush? It's like not really. It's like, well, sorry to bother you on your day off, but maybe you should try this toothbrush. Okay, bye. Stop calling me at home,
man. I think if I had to advertise anything, I would do it like how they did in the 80s when they were advertising like, kids, don't climb into a fridge at the dump. These fridges are unsafe and you will die. And you have that music in the background. It's like, blah. I think everything should be advertised like that. Like even a toothbrush.
Right.
Your teeth are all mangled and moldy and they look like shit. It's time to give them a good brush, or you'll die. That'd be great.
So is this like in a serious way? But even that, I think, is like a modern form of clickbait, or like an older form of clickbait. In a sense, like it's kind of like it shocks you into stuff that you shouldn't do.
Purchasing a toothbrush. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's like not a good thing to have.
No, but I mean, the thing is, like, when you try to think of ways to advertise products, like, holy shit. I mean, fuck, man. I don't want to sell a toothbrush. So, like, you got to find a way that is fun. It's fun for you to do it. And I think scaring people is fun. So that's the route I would take.
Do you want to have good performance at work? Why not try meth? It's fucking fantastic for your brain. You wanna have good performance at work? Yeah. Why not try meth and use our new trampolining? Fucking, this makes the blood rush right to your head. Great thinking.
What would we advertise?
I mean, I guess we could advertise vape juices, but do you actually want to advertise vape juices? Like, I don't really. Like,
no.
I don't really want to advertise anything. Jeez.
No. Well, I just want people to like the podcast and give us money. That's it.
But this is kind of like part of like where the links to what I said earlier, in a sense, because I sometimes like see that the company that we have that is the Yorkscast. It's not like the most popular thing in the world. As it used to be a lot bigger, but as a result, like we also have a lot of expenses. We have a big office here, a lot of people to support and stuff, and do a lot of things that cost money. And so when it comes to doing these brand deals, I kind of feel like sometimes I'm actually really comfortable with the ones we've done, like the Surviving Mars challenge and stuff. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, Surviving Mars is like is a pretty good game too. It's not terrible. It was
an okay game. I didn't mind promoting it.
By a good company.
We like the company.
And I we like the company, and they pretty much said go ahead and promote us however you want. Yeah. And so we did. We went out and filmed this thing, and it was fun. I think it was good for everyone, right? I think like. It did feel like we always wrestle with this, like the brand sponsorship, the adverts like selling out and stuff, and I think that the way Vox has done it is pretty hands off. Obviously, they just like go ahead and do it how you want, and I think it's okay. I don't think it's like. It doesn't make me stop listening to the podcast particularly. It's more the news that's so depressing that fucking makes me not listen. But
no, there's definitely degrees of selling out, isn't there? Like if I do a sponsored thing, like I want to make sure that what I'm sponsoring is something that I like and I can wholeheartedly recommend, and not ever sort of like second guess that.
I mean, I think Terps said to me that anything Blizzard, he'll just drop anything he's doing for Blizzard. Just he's unfortunately Terps' weakness is Blizzard though as well. Like when Terps goes out to do stuff for people at like games at Blizzard at Gamescom or wherever. He kind of works his ass off and always ends up feeling like really kind of frustrated, like though, because they kind of don't like. I think he recorded like hours and hours of funny stuff at Gamescom, and then it went away for approval, and they said, "Oh, can you redo it?" He was like, "I've done loads of funny skits. I've come up with loads of funny. I've spent weeks preparing this because I love Blizzard. I've come up with loads of stuff."
Blizzard are huge though, and they have a lot of people like combing through this stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, detail to make sure that none of it is offensive or goes against.
I think too many
ethos.
Like, what was that great phrase though? That a camel is a horse made by committee or whatever. Like, too many cooks spoil the broth.
Camels are fucking awesome. What are you talking about?
Man, they're not awesome. They are grumpy. They spit on people.
Yeah. But a camel, they're not meant to be subservient to us.
Those humps aren't even full of water.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
Camels are fucking awesome.
I'm not saying that stuff that is that's made by a large group of people is not good. But I think that sometimes like for example, we did this. Oh, I don't know if we can really talk about it. We did a Blizzard brand deal recently, and it went off for approval, and they sent back pages and pages of changes, and then they sent back pages and pages more of changes, and then pages more of changes. And at a certain point, I just threw my hands up and was like, "This is fucking ridiculous." Like the things they're asking for are mad. And are completely unnecessary. Like, blurring out Twitch on a t-shirt,
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, what? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's obviously not. It's just someone is worried about something, and they're more worried about. I can see it from like an advertising exec's point of view though as well, that they don't want to lose their job over something that they've ostensibly approved, and so they're being super, super careful.
That's the problem with any big company is that nobody really knows what is the right decision. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's even necessarily about a committee, because you can have a committee that designs something really well, right? Like a rocket or something like that. Like, I'm sure it wasn't two guys that designed the mission to the moon.
I feel like
it was like a bunch of guys, right?
I feel like a committee might be a good thing in a lot of cases, because you have other people to rein others
and lots
in
of expertise.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But the difference is if you have a committee of people sitting around going, "We've got to come up with something," they're like, "Well, Jesus, we can't hand that up to head office, or can we? No, we can't. Let's not take a chance that with somebody won't like this and blah blah won't like that." So they play it ultra fucking safe. That's the thing.
I could completely see that. And honestly, like when Terps is at Gamescom wearing a Blizzard t-shirt representing Blizzard, they've got to be very, very careful and stuff and sensitive around this stuff. And I get it. Like, but I think when it's on our channel and when it's in our voice and when we're doing a video, I don't want it. I want them to say, "Hey, make a good video to promote this thing," and we'll be like, "Okay, here's what we think's good." And if they come back with changes, we'll be like, "Well, here's why we don't think any of these changes should be made because this is our thing."
Yeah.
Whereas, sometimes you don't get that. And every time that happens, so every time someone comes to me and says, "Oh, we're sponsoring this video, therefore you need to change this," I instantly am like, I'm going to fight my hardest not to make any of those changes. Yeah, I mean,
if they want it to be a very, very, very specific way, without your voice, but basically their voice, why don't they make the fucking video? Like, seriously, that's called an advert. Go for it. If you're paying someone else to make a video using... I mean, you've obviously watched this stuff and we're like, okay, we like your guys' stuff, we like your sense of humor or your style, so we're going to ask you to make a video. If these are the things you could cover, that would be great. But you don't go in and micromanage it, because you may as well do it yourself at that point.
But that's how it all works, though. Like, like when David Beckham is promoting Gillette, or like Ronaldo is promoting Pepsi or whatever, like they just get them in. Their faces, they know that they're going to attract like audiences that like these people. And they have to say very specific things. They can't do anything and whatever. And like Blizzard are a very big established company. They have a lot to lose if it goes wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. But David Beckham doesn't have a style. He's just a guy. Like, David, could you kick this football over there? Yeah, no problem. I'll do it right now. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not like David Beckham is like, "No, that's not my style. I tend to speak French when I do advertising." He's not got a unique thing to him. He's just a guy. He could be any footballer.
But when you're doing like advertising for like a product or a game or whatever, like you're never going to have that much creative freedom, because there's always going to be
their advert. That's the point.
Well,
so he's in an advert made by Gillette.
That's what you're signing up for, though.
Right, but if Gillette said to someone else, "We'd like you to make an advert featuring our product," go nuts.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and said, "Wait a minute, where's David Beckham?" You'd be like, "Well, this isn't the fucking David Beckham advert. If you want the David Beckham advert, get Beckham."
equally, it's like, the point is that, we edit a video around like, and so there's like this long running joke throughout the whole video, and they say, okay, this one can't be in it, and you're like, well, okay, if I have to cut this joke out, I actually also have to cut out the setup for that joke. I have to cut out the repeated joke of it at the end, or else it doesn't work. So, okay, you want me to cut out this 10 seconds, I'm going to have to cut out 30 seconds or maybe a minute of funny stuff. And, I'm not really happy doing that, but I'll do it. And then they come back with more changes, like the Twitch, blurring out the Twitch t-shirt or blurring out things like that. Or even like one of the things they wanted was, and I'm not even sure if it's Blizzard or like an advertising company, but one of the things they said was like, oh yeah, you can't say Tesco. And we were like, what do you mean we can't say Tesco? And they were like, yeah, can you re-record it to say supermarket? And I'm like, yeah, do you know what? We can. We could just go back out with everyone, get them all dressed up again, go out back. What do you mean? Can we go out? No. It's
That's
like,
mad.
it's just some of it's just madness, though.
I think the thing with us is that we don't script anything, and I think when people do like a big, like when we did this brand deal recently, like I'll try not to like talk about too much because I don't know how much we're allowed to say or whatever, but like the people that we were working with, their side was very, very scripted, wasn't it? Like they were reading off scripts. They had almost like storyboards for everything that they were going to do and stuff. And I think a lot of that stuff was pre-approved, so they wouldn't run into these problems where it was like, can you go back and re-record
They're professional, is what you're saying.
bit? Yeah. We turn up in our hoodies and just start talking about whatever we talk about and stuff. And then, of course, they're going to come back and say, can you not talk about Hitler? And can you re-record the bit where you talk about Hitler and stuff? Because it's always going to be that way, right? Especially a big company. A small company that doesn't have like anything to lose. This is their first game. Nobody knows about them or whatever. Well, sure, yeah, they don't mind if we're going to make Hitler jokes and stuff like that because they're just glad for the publicity. They're glad that we're plugging their game or whatever. But big company like Blizzard, they can't do it like that. They're right to do it. I know what you mean. It's like kind of shitty, but there's no other way to be really when you're that big, because again they just have so much to lose.
Well, but I guess sometimes the people I want to work with the most, I guess, are the most difficult to work with because they're so protective of their stuff, and I get it. It's fine.
Like
anyway,
when we did the when me and Terps went out to do the escape room thing again, like everybody that was doing stuff, that like presenting and stuff, all that was like it's scripted and vetted and ready to go sort of thing. And then it's easy because it was a live event. If we said anything or whatever, I guess they could just cut it out after or just like try to like rein us in at the time or whatever. But there was never an opportunity for us to just ramble on about something or anything anyway. So there's nothing to worry about. I guess
the point is that if a sponsored video is going out on our platform, it should be in our voice. And I feel like I feel very strongly that we swear. I'm not going to bleep swearing on your brand deal video. You know what I mean?
No.
Because you don't like it or whatever. That's not how it works. You're on our platform to our audience. But like they expect a certain thing.
But so those types of sponsorships where it's like, yeah, we'll pay you X amount if you make 3 gameplay videos. I don't think they mind that sort of thing. Blizzard don't tend to sort of do those kind of deals, but like other companies do. And they'll just say like, you just need to make 3 videos promoting this new game. Just play through it like for how long you would play in a normal video or whatever. Just do your thing, and that's enough. And they're happy with that because they know that they're reaching your audience that way, right? Like, and it's on your platform, and these people might be people that have never heard of them before, never played their games before, and all of a sudden they've got new interest and they've got new sales or whatever, and that works. Those are pretty good ones to do, but like Blizzard don't do those, right? They like everything, like and these things that we're doing,
bespoke, I think.
Yeah, and these things that we're doing, it's on our platform, sure, but like these are like big sort of like scripted event things or whatever without any scripting. So like, I don't know. I think we're kind of silly to complain about it when we should.
I'm not really complaining. I'm just sort of musing on it really, because it is something which I'm concerned about. I don't like doing sellouty stuff, right? And I never have. But sometimes I feel like it's good money.
But I just love money so much.
I love money.
But on the flip side, like I actually legitimately have never. No, not that I can remember recently, done something for a brand deal for something which I genuinely didn't like. So, like, for example, recently we played Skyforge, which is like an MMO that I played a bunch of, like, about a year ago or whatever, just for no reason. They tried to sponsor us and help us out on the Jingle Jam and offered to give us loads and loads of stuff, but we ended up not putting it in because we thought it would be a bit kind of because all of their games are free to play, right? And so it would all only have just been like stuff in the free to play games, like stuff that was worth quite a bit, but it felt I wasn't quite sure what to do with free to play stuff in the Jingle Jam last year and how it fits in. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's one of the things I talked a lot about with people at GDC, like how do we make it so it doesn't feel like just a Sunday newspaper with tons of adverts shoved in, you know.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Anyway,
it's
these are all things to think about. But no, we don't need the money that bad. But I think it's hard to turn stuff down if we like it.
Well, you don't ever want to turn stuff down if you like it, because not only are you doing something around something you like, but it opens up doors for further opportunities too, right? Like, especially if you do like a good job or whatever, they'll come back to you and be like, hey, the next expansion is going to come out. Let's do more. And you're like, yeah, great. You know, I'm glad to be on board with these people and helping do stuff or promoting a game that I actually like, and that's a really good spot to be in for sure.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me. If it's something I like, I'll happy to do it. But if it's not, I'm not going to do it just to do it.
Yeah. Anyway,
like
it's all a bit of a random.
I don't really like doing it.
No, me neither. And I wish that somebody would pay me to sort of
sit
do
through
this because
shit.
God.
Well, you'll be glad to know our new sponsor, Tito's Trampolining, is opening a new branch near you.
Piercing.
Bob's ass spray.
Dick piercing and pizza.
I'm Tito.
All three.
We got all the bases covered. You like jumping?
Get your dick pierced while you're bouncing on a trampoline.
You like pizza?
And get some cool mint sprayed on the rim of your asshole to cool it down. So it's like it's
getting hot. The weather is getting hot in England.
It's a new kind of health spa. That's what you're doing.
Tito's butt spray, dick piercing, pizza, trampolining emporium is open for business.
Minty butt spray emporium.
Shout out to Tito.
Nice.
God.
That's our podcast, everyone.
It's a big one.
We're gonna end it here, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Hopefully, are you guys around next week?
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Fucking A, bro.
We're here for one more week. Then we've got to go to Seattle. But yes, we'll see you in a week's time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Goodbye, bye.